New at 10, a proposed Jackson Water Authority bill would allow a portion of the city's sanitation fees to cover the authority's debt. It provides an additional revenue stream to pay off debt until the authority becomes solvent. It would allow the city to enter into an agreement with Hinds County to collect its sanitation fees as part of your annual tax bills. A portion of those fees would be sent to the authority to cover water and sewer debt. The city currently collects a sanitation fee of $37 a month. City Attorney Drew Martin says adding sanitation fees to your property tax bills would likely increase the collection rate from around 62% with Jackson Water to as much as 97% with the county.